two things.
Yes.
One term.
Two term.
And two term. So this meeting is all about the two term team. It's a two term team. Unfortunately, for ODM, is that by the time they are done with this meeting and with this marriage between UDA, ODM will be much weaker, if not dead.
Yeah.
But UDA has nothing to lose because they have the presidency. You know, even if William Ruto was to call this organization between ODM and UDA, ODA, Orange Democratic Movement, isn't it? It will still be big because of the presidency. But now that Raila Odinga is not going to contest for the presidency in 2027, at least like he said in an interview, that it doesn't have to be him, he can support somebody else.
Yeah.
If that is the case, then ODM is nothing. Remember, ODM is moving into this election. Before we analyze what could be the outcome for today's meeting, let's look at it this way. ODM has decided that in October, they are going to have NDC. NDC is to endorse some decisions. So the meeting they have today is to prepare for the NDC
in October.
So I'm sure this meeting is to discuss some of it's a joint parliamentary group meeting, to discuss some of the issues that actually go on the NDC. So they'll say, joint parliamentary group met and decided on the following. Then those are the things they're going to present in the NDC so that the ODM members now can endorse them. Now, before I thought deeply, I thought there were three scenarios that are likely to happen in the NDC. One is that when ODM meets, they are going to agree that Raila Odinga can be able to hand over power to somebody in ODM and contest for the presidency in 2027. The other scenario could be, the second scenario could be that Raila Odinga is going to be endorsed by the ODM delegates to contest for the presidency in 2027. And the third scenario could be that Raila Odinga is going to meet with the Orange Democratic Movement members and endorse William Ruto as their president
for
2027. But there's a fourth scenario, which is the wild card, that ODM will die. So let me start with the first scenario. The scenario that ODM can endorse somebody to become president, that is unlikely to happen because Raila cannot allow another center of power within ODM, because immediately Raila allows that, he will start diminishing. And that person has to be allowed to take over and actually run with it. And at the same time, there are so many factions to allow that to happen. And I'll go to the factions much later when I'm talking about the fourth scenario. The second scenario, where they are saying that Raila Odinga can actually contest, if Raila Odinga is endorsed by the ODM member delegates to contest, then we are going to have what's called the third horse for the first time. Remember, Raila Odinga said there can never be a third horse. There will only be two horses. And currently there are two horses. We have been waiting for the Gen Z horse to rise, but that's a story for another day. But we haven't seen that horse coming yet. Yet Gen Z still have the numbers, isn't it? But that is something that can happen. But so far, we have the two-horse race. We have the ruling party and the opposition. If Raila Odinga contests without joining the opposition, then Raila Odinga is the only one who will have power to create the third force. So with the third force, Raila can get minimum 2-3 million votes. So with the 2-3 million votes as a third force, what can happen is that there'll be no 50+1 for anyone. So whether it is the opposition picks whoever they want to pick, running against William Ruto, those two people cannot get 50+1%. In fact, sometimes if Raila Odinga runs and William Ruto does not get back Mount Kenya, William Ruto can be number 3 by the first round. Therefore, one term could have happened very early. But that's what we pray for, that it happens very early so that we are not having a contest election. The president will only stay in State House to wait to hand over power like Uhuru was waiting. He will become already a lame duck by the time we are going to the second round. The third scenario is most likely, and I can tell you, if you are William Ruto, you cannot be looking for scenario 1 or 2. You will be looking for scenario number 3. And I can tell you that even this meeting, William Ruto will fund it 100%. Yeah, he will fund this meeting. Joint Parliamentary will fund it. No funding means that those MPs, like he said, before they meet, they must be paid.
They be given something.
Yeah, so they'll be paid to come for the meeting. So any MP you see coming has been paid. The one who won't come has not been paid. That is the truth. And also the NDC for ODM, Ruto will attend to try to push the agenda. They endorse him as their presidential candidate. So mark my word, William Ruto do not want any candidate. He does not want to compete again with Raila Odinga. If you look at the pictures in Kasarani, if there's anything to go by, you saw how they were seated, and when they were living in the corridors of power, you could see how they were walking together. The jacket for the Harambee Stars were red, both Ruto's and Raila's. The t-shirts were white, isn't it? The only thing I saw which was different was the shoe and the trouser, which I think Mama Ida designed another one and Mama Rachel designed a separate one.
Yeah.
So that is the only decision made by the two women who are powerful women in Kenya at the moment. In Luo they call them Min Piny, the mother of the earth.
Yes.
Yes, so there are two Min Piny. There are two women who are the mothers of the earth. So for that, they're the one who decided the two earth. But those are the only scenarios which happen. Now the fourth scenario, that ODM may not have to do their NDC. If you ask me, ODM, if they want, they should not do their NDC this year. Why? The NDC for this year is coming at a time that ODM has never seen in the rest of their life. Why am I trying to say so? Do you know Raila Odinga has never been a dilemma in his life in politics? This is the first dilemma he has. Thus, I've given you those scenarios. So why am I trying to say Raila Odinga is in dilemma? Why? There are 7 factions in ODM. The first faction is Sifuna faction, which is believing that he should join the Kenya One team, right, which began as Team Ground, and run with them, which means that ODM is dead in Western. The other faction is the faction led by Oparanya. Oparanya was the deputy party leader for ODM. He was the one who had the grip of Western Kenya
region.
So for him, he believes he's very much at peace in UDA. So he'll be telling Raila, wachana ODM, let's join UDA. So that is the second faction. The third faction is the faction of Pure Wandai, who believes that he's the heir apparent in ODM. Remember, when Raila Odinga lost the presidency, he was given the position of minority leader in the county assembly. And then when that has not been settled, he was given a CS in the government, energy, and Raila Odinga is a big investor in energy because of his Spectre International. So he relieves the heir apparent. So he believes that he should actually be leading ODM. In fact, this position of who can run, he should be the one actually running. So that's another faction. You go to Mbadi. Mbadi believed he was the chair of ODM for a long period. Actually, he says the longest time in ODM. And now he's a CS Treasury. He believed that by holding the treasury, he's the senior most Luo in Luo Nyanza. And therefore, he should also be respected and be propelled to the next movement. You come to Coast Province, another faction now. We have Joho. Joho believes actually he should set his own political party, join UDA, but using his political party, not through ODM. Then the last and the 7th faction is Raila Odinga faction. There's not a rumor anymore that Raila's sister has a baby with the Ruto family, isn't it? Isn't it? You know that? It's not rumors, this is true. It can be proven biologically in a laboratory. So this faction also holds Mama Ida. So Mama Ida, being very close with Mama Rachel, they believe that Raila Odinga should actually support William Ruto for the presidency. So these 7 factions meeting in October, what's the outcome? There is no arithmetical equation that can solve this drift. Therefore, this is how you die. You know, when you go to hospital, your heart does not want to work with your lungs, and your lung does not want to work with your kidney, and your kidney does not relate to your brain, and your brain does not want to work with your ears and nose and mouth. You die. We hear that so-and-so has died because of systemic failure in the organs. Organs systemically failed, isn't it? So if, for example, Deputy Party Leader Joho is one organ, Oparanya is another organ. This is the heart, isn't it? That is Joho, because he has been financing ODM. Oparanya is the lungs, isn't it? Mbadi is the kidney, you understand? Raila Odinga is the
I said the brain.
Is the brain, isn't it? You go.
And of course, there is Akina James Orengo.
Akina James Orengo. Actually, even Anyang' Nyong'o. Those are there are 7 factions.
Yeah.
So all those are organs which cannot work together. So there will be a rejection of each other, and therefore the guy will die because that there's systemic failure of all the organs together.
There is a line that you've not spoken about. The Kenyan who has believed in what ODM has stood for, if there is anything to go by, what happens to the people faction?
Actually, those people are gone. ODM is just remaining with leaders, because even when they joined government, they never consulted the people. I have a party which has been launched called the Kim Alliance Party. The people of Kilifi says this is the party. Some of them say they want to embrace the party, because actually the party was founded in the Coast Province. The people of Taita Taveta who have been ODM followers, they don't want to hear about ODM. This dead. The people of Mombasa believe that, for example, even if you talk about the people from, let's say, Western Kenya, that people of course call Watu wa Bara, they have always believed in ODM and Raila Odinga. Now they are saying Raila Odinga has been telling them, you people vote for me as president, but give those other people governor, MP, so that they can support us. And they are saying they have never gotten anything from that kind of compromise. Imagine if you go to Mombasa, the people from Wabara are more than the coastal in most constituencies, like let's say Changamwe, isn't it? But they cannot win the MP because Raila says, give this seat to someone from coast so that the coastal people can support his presidency. But what do they get in return? Nothing. So people have noticed this conmanship. You go to Kilifi, the same. You go to Kwale, there are so many people from Watu wa Bara, wako Kwale, Watu wa Bara, wako Malindi, and they are not seeing the benefit of supporting Raila Odinga, because after that, he goes to eat with the same people now. So Raila with Joho wameshikana, sivyo? Yeah. So ninyi watu wa Pwani mlipigia Joho kura to become governor, and you support Raila Odinga to become president, and the watu wa Bara ulipigia Joho to become governor, then you voted Raila to become president. You don't see anything good in this alliance. You only see chaos, isn't it? And therefore, they believe they're alone. Alan, politics must be for the people. It must be pro-people. It must be for people, for prosperity. And if you go to all the regions where ODM has worked, ODM is always the largest company in those regions. You go to Luo Nyanza, the largest company in Luo Nyanza is ODM. If you know any other, tell me which one. But if you go to Mount Kenya, the largest companies remain things like KCB. You go talk about Equity Bank. You can talk about Transnational Bank. You can talk about companies that people can be employed, Family Bank and the rest. But tell me which one we have from Luo Nyanza. So these people have been believing that they have been used for someone's prosperity. If you look at Raila Odinga's net worth, isn't it? And you compare with an average Luo, you cannot even compare. So why don't they rebirth a new movement which will be pro-people? And for me, the challenge is that ODM needs to die, plus UDA needs to die for this country to be liberated. And I like the fact they come together, then Kenyans vote properly against this, to kill these guys together. Then let us rebirth a new Kenya, which has no those conmanship. Because even if you talk about William Ruto, let me tell you, Alan, there is no community which has ever led Kenya. Kenyans have been led by individuals. Mark my word. There is no community that has ruled Kenya. Even those people hating Kikuyus, you are wasting time. Kikuyu community has never ruled Kenya. In fact, go to the first president. Kenyatta was the president. What was his cabinet? It was not a Kikuyu cabinet, isn't it? But even if you leave that aside, I don't think that the Kikuyus were ruling. It was Kenyatta who was ruling. You come to the second president, Moi. It was not the Kalenjins who were ruling. It was Moi who was ruling. In fact,
but the composition of these governments, who are the majority people in
No. But even those people, is there any community bank account? You go to Maragat. I went to a place called Kapkukui. People are poor there. Even during the flood, swept schools, children are actually walking barefoot. Bana, let's be honest, Bana. Go here in Mount Kenya. Jigas are eating Kikuyus here in Madhioya, isn't it? How can Jigas eat a community of the first if the community was ruling? Which community was ruling? Did you see Kikuyu council elders sitting in Kibaki's cabinet?
No.
Did they sit in Uhuru's cabinet? In fact, some of them used to call press conferences crying over what Uhuru should do for them. Isn't it? Let's be honest, my brother. I'm telling you, there should be these things of community profiling should stop.
Yeah.
No community has ruled Kenya. Look at it this way, my brother. Siteso said they are marginalized in Busia County. And Teso had the first governor.
Yeah.
What nonsense is that? If the first governor was from Teso and Teso were ruling Busia, why should they complain? So hakuna hii mambo ya kusema community is ruling. Let me tell you, Alan, the day Kenyans discover that economy connects us much more than our tribes, we shall go very far. And I can tell you, Alan, do you know how your salary comes? It is not coming from Kikuyu, isn't it? Does a community pay you a salary? Have you ever seen a check from a community?
No.
You are, I don't know which tribe you are, because for me, you confuse me a lot. You even told me you came from Migori, so after this, I'm going to do research about you. So what I'm trying to say here is that there's no community that rules. How much money sits on Kikuyu Council Elders Bank account? I meet some of those elders. They live in homes which are just the same as my homes, isn't it? They see poverty like I've seen, and they sacrifice to them. Go to the Kalenjin. Do you know Kalenjin Council Elders? Do you know them? You ever seen them?
No.
So how are they ruling if they're not even organized as an elder? Rift Valley, is there some community called Rift Valley? Is there any community called Western Kenya? Is there a community called Coastal Kenya? Even Kaya elders had very many powerful leaders from coast like Noah, Katana, Ngala, and the rest, isn't it? Where are those communities? So Alan, let us do this. In America, people come clear. It's my family ruling. And you go to White House and rule and go home on behalf of the Americans. So let's agree, individuals rule the country, not a community.
Yeah.
Just like now, I don't know which, let's say I'm a Luo. So, okay, let's say I'm a Luo. That's true, isn't it? I am here as a professor analyzing news. So are Luos analyzing the politics of the day? So you can say Luos are analyzing news. When there's an anchor from Citizen who is from Kikuyu, so Kikuyus are anchoring news in Citizen. Or Kikuyus are answering news in Science TV. Kikuyus are analyzing in TV47. No, it is that individual doing his work professionally. That's how you should look at it. When I become President Alan, see me as a Kenyan president running the country professionally. These things of community should end. In fact, this tribal arithmetic will be going to end in 2027. I know there will be still a bit of it there, but I can tell you it is not having more than 5 years lifespan. Like I see people, like, most of you who support me in my campaigns and the rest, they are across the board. I go to Coast Province, they welcome me. I was in Mwingi the other day, the Wakamba welcomed me. And some of them will vote for me in Ukambani if at all I run. I go to Luo Nyanza, some of them even oppose me. So you'll be opposed. It's neither here nor there. It's about your policy.
Amazing. My takeaway from this conversation today, Professor.
Yes.
Forgive a man who has a stance and is wrong.
Yes.
But never forgive a man who does not have a stance.
That's the point, my brother.
That's all we've had for you this morning. Let us see you next week as Professor will be coming back. But of course, tomorrow there is the breakfast show and throughout the entire week. Been your host, Alan Herbert, and the sign language interpreter has been Gideon Minor. Good morning.